I've started over in Palworld, and now I've got 100 days to defeat all 43 Alpha Pals in order, starting with absolutely nothing. And there's a massive twist. 3 of the lower level pals have been replaced with brand new super powered pals, and to make it more exciting, each pal can randomly spawn with up to double its normal level. I'll start at level 50 and will have to level up to the new level 99, but each pal can only be caught once I've caught the pal before it in the Alpha Pal list. I can catch multiple of the same pal though to help me progress through. Day 1 started with saying goodbye to my old base and pals, punching some trees, and gathering enough wood and stone to build a repair bench and some basic tools. Because I can't catch any low-level pals, we're gonna have to start off like this. Getting those early tools is gonna help me collect the basic stone, at least I don't have to smash my hands into rocks to get the resources I need to start this. After mining quite a nice chunk of stone and wood, I then started mining palladium fragments. I'd need a bow, some arrows, and some basic pal spheres to capture my first alpha pal, the Chillet. I built a repair bench to fix my tools, started crafting the arrows and the bow and the pal spheres all of the way into the night. And with everything crafted, I was ready for my first fight. I snuck through the darkness to try and take down Chillet whilst it was sleeping. Now, because I started this at a higher level, things were going to be a little easier than starting from scratch. And luckily this Chillet only spawned at level 13. If it had been any higher level, this would be really challenging. The Chillet attacks are pretty easy to dodge, so I just kept shooting away with my 3-shot bow until the health depleted pretty low. Now, it was really cold, so I was starting to freeze to death, so I really had to pick up the pace here. I tried to hit as many critical shots as I can whilst dodging all the Chillet attacks, and with the Chillet's health nice and low, all I had to do was hope my 9 pal spheres would be enough to catch it before I literally froze to death. And just like that, we got it on the first try. Now, getting our first alpha pal was really important. We had a long way to go before this challenge was over, but it meant that I had a pal to help me fight. So I got back to my base, had to kill a tombat, which came up straight to my pal box, and that was the end of day 1. Day 2 didn't go quite as smoothly. I thought I'd go straight to the next pal, which was Penking, because remember, the early level pals had been replaced with some very dangerous high level new alpha pals. The fight went terribly and I died within seconds. I thought I'd come back and give it another try, and I died again. Whilst I wandered around, trying to figure out how I'm gonna fight this Penking, I came across a chest, and it had a rare schematic for a cloth outfit. Now, this certainly wasn't going to be enough for me to take down the Penking, but it would be nice to get a bit of armor, so it was really nice to stumble upon this. As I was getting the materials to craft this cloth armor, I did create a nice little plan. With Penking being the only boss available next to fight, I'd have to basically keep fighting the Chillet for the next few days and build a Chillet army that would be capable of taking down Penking. So for the second day in a row, I set out to fight Chillet once more. And it went pretty smoothly, to be honest, now that I had my own Chillet to fight it, and I came back home with a second Chillet. I spent the night of day 2 cutting down more trees, I built a little bed for myself, and then in day 3, I cut down more stones and trees. I got more palladium fragments and built some more pal spheres because I ran out. I repaired my items, and can you guess where I went next? Yep, straight to the Chillet. Now, the Chillet is an interesting creature. It seems to just kind of be a little bit, well, different. This boss fight was really hard. For some reason, both the Chillets just kind of wanted to play and not fight each other, but eventually I managed to catch it. I cut down more stones and trees again, more palladium fragments, and now with an army of 3 Chillets, some of which had leveled up after my other Chillet fights, it was time to take on the Penking. The fight started off pretty difficult, but the Chillet managed to kill the Pengullets while I focused on the Penking, and then died again. Feeling pretty defeated, and all of my Chillets now being dead, I decided to head back home and call it a night. With there being 43 alpha pals to capture, and only 100 days to complete this challenge, being on day 4 with only 1 alpha pal captured felt pretty demoralizing. I was worried that I wouldn't have a chance to do this. I didn't really know what to do today, so I planted some red berries. Yeah, I manually planted them, watered them, and harvested them because I didn't have any pals to help me with that. I then, guess what, fought another Chillet, and this time it was a level 21 Chillet, which is quite exciting. because whilst my own chillet had managed to reach level 20, finding a wild chillet at level 21 was pretty awesome because killing it would give us a lot of XP. I had to tick down the health to a tiny amount to have a chance to capture this, and luckily I only went through a few Pal Spheres before getting it into my Pal arsenal. And this level 21 chillet had Stronghold Strategist, which would give me plus 25% extra defense, which was really useful. I finally felt confident enough to go and attack the Pen King. The fight was going so well, and then I died again. I didn't give up though. I spent the nighttime collecting Lift Monk effigies. Day 5, I put a statue of power down and leveled up my capture power. I caught another chillet, this time level 22, and I went straight back to the Pen King for another try at the fight. And this time I got lucky. The Pen King level was fairly low, which meant the fight was a lot easier. Now, I wouldn't get as much experience for this kill, but there was actually a chance that I could do it, which felt so relieving being 5 days into this challenge with only one of 43 pals collected. And as the fight went on, we finally managed to capture the Pen King, and that made me feel very happy getting back home, ready for day 6, where I could potentially maybe look at capturing different pals for once. Back at base, I started to build more berry farms and some boxes and a food box for my pals now that I'm actually catching pals. The difficult thing is, with only alpha pals and me only being able to capture the pals in order of their level, it really limited what I could do. Finally, with the Pen King, I could automate watering of the berries, but I still had to plant them and grow them myself. But it was a step in the right direction, and I was happy to get ready to fight the next pal the following morning. Day 6 started with the morning chillet ritual. Capturing another chillet was the plan, for 2 reasons. We could get more XP to level up our current pals in our party, but also later on we could build a pal condenser. Perhaps 50 days into the challenge we could have the most powerful chillet known to man. However, I accidentally killed this one. Oops. The next pal in the list was Azarobe. Now, I found these pals pretty easy to fight on my previous account. The attacks are pretty easy to dodge. The only trouble is, my pals were still a little underleveled, so this fight went on forever, until I accidentally got hit by a big bubble and died. I went back to my base, made some more arrows, I built a pal gear workshop, I got a chillet saddle, and then I tried to attack the Azarobe again. I battled through the night. This fight went on forever just like the last time, and the sun literally set. As the battle continued, the health dropped down lower and lower, but as the night went by, I just wasn't prepared and started taking damage from the cold. And every time I tried to catch the pal, it just wasn't quite good enough, so I had to damage it more, throw another pal sphere down, and hope that I could catch it before I died. Not quite. The cold got me before I could get the Azarobe. Well, there's always day 7. Day 7 started with a chillet capture. I then went for a bit of an exploration, got a couple Lift Monk effigies, some chests. I went back home, repaired my stuff, got a bit more resources from the nodes nearby, and now I had Pen King at base. He could break down the ore that was in my base, but I had to go and manually collect it. And then I thought about taking down the Pen King again. Because remember when we died earlier because it was too high level? Well, I was hoping I could go back and find another high level Pen King and actually defeat it this time. And it may be powerful enough to take down the Azarobe. It was quite a tricky fight, I must say, but I did manage to do it now that my chillets were higher level. But I ended up running out of arrows, and with only having the basic Pal Sphere, I had to literally go and punch the Pen King to have low enough health to have a chance of capturing it. I went through 10 Pal Spheres just to capture the thing, but we did get it, and it was level 25. And now we had a more powerful pal to take down the Azarobe and kickstart this thing and hopefully start getting more gear, more powerful pals, and better Pal Spheres. Day 8 was back to the basics because I'd run out of pretty much everything, so I had to go and collect a bunch of stuff. Once I start collecting a few more varieties of alpha pals, then we'll be able to automate a lot of this activity, which is really awesome. But for now, yeah, it's just me on my own because my chillets are kind of just chilling and doing absolutely nothing. They're really not that useful pals. Speaking of chillet, after getting materials all day long, I went into the night once again and took down another chillet. This time I caught it, but accidentally froze to death. Yeah, I keep doing that. We're going to need to get some more armor soon. Day 9 started with me picking up my lost gear while staring into the face of another chillet that had spawned because it was already a new day. So yeah, another chillet kill added to the list. we're building up a giant chillet army that we can condense together once we can smelt ingots. Luckily, the Pen King is smashing that rock back at base, which will give us a nice amount of ore. But we're going to need to wait till we fight the Azarobe, which will then allow us to fight the Bushy, which will finally give us the opportunity to smelt ore, because currently we have no pals for kindling. For the rest of day 9, I collected effigies and chests before it got too late. In day 10, I went to the desert and collect more gigaspheres because we were running low. I started to upgrade my chillet with Stronghold Strategist, with some power souls I found. And then we caught yet another chillet. Well, I don't really have anything else to do at this point. Or do we? Because on day 11, it was finally time to attack the Azarobe again. After getting the gear and the megaspheres, sorry, it was megaspheres, not gigaspheres, I felt comfortable that our Pen King could have a good chance at taking out the Azarobe. I literally had to use all of my megaspheres that I spent all day finding and a gigasphere that I found in a chest to catch this thing, but we finally got it, which meant we could finally go and get Bushy soon, and that would open up so many opportunities to smelt ingot and get pretty much anything in the game. But I forgot. I still have to go through Grintail, which is not really much of a threat, to be honest. And then also Nightwing, which can be a bit difficult to fight because it's a flying pal and we don't have too many pals that could potentially attack it. I'm a bit worried about that one. Either way, the Grintail fight went pretty smoothly. I wasted hundreds of arrows to kill it, but we captured it, so that's great. I forgot to record day 12, but I basically just collected a bunch of resources. On day 13 in the morning, you can see the things that I collected. I'd been collecting stone and ore and stuff when I could as well, and I don't remember when. I built a glider, a common shield, and some tundra armor. I forgot to show that before. We of course got another chillet that day. The Azarobe made capturing it so much faster. It was beginning to get really tough. And then we went for the Nightwing, which surprisingly was really easy. It was only a level 18 one luckily, so capturing it became no problem at all. As we wandered through the island, I saw Drogon, the final boss for this challenge. Yeah, it was pretty scary to walk past, not gonna lie. With Nightwing and Grintail caught, that finally allowed me to go and capture Bushy, which is what I really needed to get some ingots, because before this, I couldn't even craft anything that required ingots, and all of the late game gear needs it. It wasn't actually that difficult to capture, thankfully. So I ran back to the starting area, killed some fox parks to get some flame organs, and then of course I built a primitive furnace and started crafting all of those ingots that the Pen King collected ore for since the start of this challenge, basically. Now the first thing I wanted to create with all of that ingots was the Pal Condenser. I had so many chillets sitting there and it was finally time to condense them. On day 15, Azarobe accidentally killed the chillet I wanted to capture, and I got a legendary cloth outfit schematic. So I of course had to go and build that up. I got it equipped and I was quite disappointed with how much health it gave me. We started crafting some nails and started putting in the work towards getting a handgun because the 3-shot bow was starting to lose its power against these more powerful pals. On day 16, I went back to the desert and collected as much as possible as I could there in terms of ore, sulfur, and charcoal. I would need this to make the handgun and the handgun bullets, and I'd also need it for pretty much anything else beyond this point. It's getting to the point where I'm going to need to go and get a bunch of stuff, including quartz pretty soon, if I want to get high-end gear to fight these higher level alpha pals. Level 17 was filled with tasks around the base, collecting resources in the nearby area, building more spheres, crafting the handgun ammo. All of that stuff started to take a lot of time and it was eating into my days. I was really starting to worry about how this challenge would go, so I really wanted to make sure I used every last second of every day possible, otherwise I might end up failing it. I of course took down one chillet again, accidentally killed it though. My powers are getting too strong for this. I was really lucky that I got another cloth outfit literally the next day. And I wanted to capture another Bushy because my current one kept slacking off, which is a problem when he's the only source of your ingots, which is so crucial in this stage of the game. I fought tirelessly on this Bushy fight. It was a really high level Bushy. Luckily, Azarobe has highly effective attacks against Bushy, which really helped because, you know, my Azarobe was level 32 and the Bushy was level 39. And we almost caught it, but then I ran out of spheres, so I kind of just had to kill it instead. On day 18, I went back to the desert, got more coal, charcoal, all that good stuff, sulfur as well. At nighttime, I collected a few more effigies because I need more capture rate. I was struggling to capture these pals at this point. Day 19, I built a better axe so that I could get some quartz. It was really slow with the lower tier axe. I actually managed to capture a chillet this time. And then I traveled into the ice biome with Bushy to set up a base where there's tons of quartz spawns, because we will need that late game. Now for the next like 5 or 6 days, I went through the footage and I was on the end of day 27 by the time this all happened. I basically just hunted down as many resources as I could. I realized I'd need to just bunker down a bit and build up enough resources so I can get better spheres, better ammo, and start crafting higher tier stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of time trying to capture these higher level pals. After all of that gathering resources, I built a production line and a power sphere line so that we could build more high-end stuff. And then I remembered you need electricity for all that. This thing took ages to build, so that was a bit of a shame. We'd have to fight the Falbat, Catras, Kingpacker, Quiven, Fenglope, Talia before we could get to the first electric producing pal. There's a lot of work ahead of us. So with that in mind, I just built more gigaspheres and then went to go and fight the Bushy again. And this time I got really lucky. I got a legendary crossbow schematic, which was great because the handgun kind of sucked. I was really excited about it though, and it took a lot of resources, so I spent the remainder of the day trying to get as many as I could ready to build it. Day 29 started with me literally cutting down rocks. This far into a Palworld run, yes, I'm manually cutting down trees and rocks just to get this crossbow. One little nice thing though is this Grintel had logging foreman, so cutting down trees like this didn't really take too long. Once I had the final pieces, it was finally time to build it, and it took a really long time to do so. And then of course I needed more arrows because I'd run out of those when I stopped using it. And now there's only one thing left to do, to try out this crossbow on the one thing that we knew how to defeat. Yep, it's chillet time, and I must be honest, this was a really nice, easy fight, and it was far better to take it out like this instead of having the Azerobe, which almost one-hit it and would often make me lose out on capturing a chillet for the day. So I was really happy about this. It felt really good. Finally felt like I had a bit of luck that may have given what we need to go and fight all of these pals up next. On day 30, I strolled past the Pyro Lion, which I needed to somehow capture, but considering I was a third of the way through this challenge, with only like 15% of the pals captured so far, I was starting to worry. But either way, today I was going to try and capture as many as I could in a single day. So we started with the Broncherry. Now this big pal is pretty scary, and it will get up straight in your face and also throw some pretty crazy attacks. One of them is a giant egg, and honestly that's very easy to dodge. But the little egg clusters that explode aren't so easy, so you want to watch out for those. The Broncherry also likes to get right up in your face and then do like a little jump, so if it gets up close to you, you kind of just need to dodge out of the way at the last second so you don't take damage. I was really happy to get the Broncherry, honestly, because it would allow us to finally get the gathering skill, because we didn't have a pal with gathering yet. And believe it or not, all of this time I'd actually been doing the gathering step for the berries all by myself. And luckily, because Bushy was a fire type pal, it was fairly easy to take this big Broncherry down, even though it seemed so menacing alongside us. As soon as I got back, I put Broncherry to work on the plantations and also put some more berry fields down because we were actually kind of running out of food. It was becoming a problem. The next fight was Falbat, and as the sun was setting, I felt like we had enough time to go and do it, meaning we could get 2 pals killed in a single day. Honestly, that legendary crossbow was our saving grace, but things started to line up for us as well in terms of pal weaknesses. Like, for example, this Falbat was a dark type, and our chillet, which we'd been maxing out like crazy, condensing to level 1, now has dragon attacks. So it was actually a pretty good fight. It wasn't really that hard. The Falbat attacks weren't really that confusing at all. Just kidding, that thing hits like a truck. I went home feeling pretty defeated, not gonna lie. I went back there the next day, and luckily the Falbat respawned with a lower level. This mod seems to just randomly pick and choose what the level will be. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. But in this case, I was happy it was a lower level because it meant I actually had a chance to capture it. Considering I was still using gigaspheres at this point, it was really starting to get difficult to capture these pals, especially if they ended up being like level 40 or higher. Luckily, we did fight through it and managed to capture it with these gigaspheres. Just really hoping we can get through this Because there's a bunch of pals we'll have to fight before we can get our first electric pal, and then we can start making more pal spheres at higher levels. Now, whilst it was still day 31, I thought I'd go straight to the next fight. Let's actually get 2 pals in a single day. And surprisingly, it went pretty well. I'm not even kidding this time. I was kind of not really expecting this Catras to do much. The Failbat and Catras I thought I'd just stick in my pal box and never really think about it. However, this little Catras here ended up being one of my most powerful pals, and I was really surprised by that. But anyway, as I damaged it and struggled to throw Gigaspheres at its face, we finally caught it. And like I say, we'll see later how this ended up becoming one of my most powerful pals. Oh, and also, pay attention to how much experience this level 40 Alpha Pal got us for all of our party. It was crazy. And with that, I felt pretty confident that we could finally pick up the pace. But the question was, with there being only 69 days left and still over 30 pals to capture, including those really powerful new pals, would we have a chance? Well, you have to find out in next episode. This series is really time consuming to do because I have to go and collect so many resources each day in the game, so I wanted to split it into a 3-part series, and I guess the more support this video gets, the more motivated I'll be to put more time into it and get it out as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, my friends. I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio!